probably very dangerous to be drinking a cup of tea while wearing vivid lipstick, but I'm filming a lot today and my voice needs this. Hi everyone, Rosie here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing the Three Musketeers tag, the Three Musketeers book tag. I'm not totally sure. The correct one will be in the title. This is an original tag by Becky of Teacup the Storyteller, and she tagged me in it. Of course I had to do it, even if it took me quite a while to get to it. Question 1. Alexandre Dumas was born in the 19th century. Do you have a favorite time period to read about? If yes, what do you like about it? I can't possibly choose. I like reading about everything from prehistory to futuristic, far-fetched space stuff. I really don't have one favorite. I like a lot of things across a lot of different time periods. 2. Alexandre Dumas was born in France. Is there a French author whose book you'd recommend? Reading more French books, and sort of as a result of that more French authors, is something I've been trying to work on lately, rather unsuccessfully, so I don't have a great choice to recommend to you all. I did read The Lady's Paradise by Émile Zola last year. Yes, because this is going live in 2022. So last year I read that. I really enjoyed parts of it. It was part like 5-star, oh my goodness, I love this, part 2-star, I hate this. So I'm not sure I would recommend it exactly, but it was really interesting, and once I've read more of Zola's works, maybe I will recommend those. 3. Alexandre Dumas often based his novels on real events and historical figures. Is there a person from the past, artists, politicians, simply anyone, you would like to meet? So I hate the idea of meeting anyone I look up to or find interesting, because I just feel like it would be so awkward to sit there and go, oh my goodness, I'm such a fan of yours. I love your work so much. Let me ask so many questions about it. And I'm just some random person. That does not appeal to me. But on the flip side, why would I want to meet someone who I don't find interesting? So there's not really anyone from the past who I want to meet. 4. Alexandre Dumas wrote some pretty chunky books. For example, The Count of Monte Cristo is almost over 1,000 pages, as opposed to his son, Alexandre Dumas Jr., whose only book, The Lady of Camellias, is less than 180 pages. What is the longest and shortest book you've read? The shortest book I've read, at 32 pages, was The Curious Case of the Werewolf That Wasn't by Gail Carriger. This is a novella short story prequel to her Parasol Protectorate series. And the longest book that I've read is The Wealth of Nations by Adam Smith, which is just over 1,200 pages. We don't need to talk about that. Question 5. I don't think there's a video in which I wouldn't mention my favorite book, The Three Musketeers. Is there a book you want everyone to know about? It can be your favorite book of all time or some recent read you'd recommend to other people. I talk about my favorites all the time, so if you've seen more than like 2 of my videos, you've probably heard me recommend them. I'm gonna go with the book that I read recently and I think everyone should read. In December, for the Queer Lit Readathon, I read Sister Outsider by Audre Lorde. I will link my Queer Lit Readathon vlog up here if you'd like to hear my extended thoughts. I thought this essay collection was just so phenomenal. The writing was gorgeous, absolutely incredible, phenomenal, so pleasant to read. But the ideas and the topics and the discussions that Lorde is bringing up are still so incredibly relevant in 2022 as they were when she wrote this in the 70s and 80s. So I think this is one of those books that everyone should read. I'm not sure everyone will love it, but I think the ideas that she shares are so important that everyone should be exposed to them. Question 6. One of the most famous quotes in literature, all for one, one for all, comes from the pen of Alexandre Dumas. Do you keep track of your favorite quotes when reading? Do you have at least one quote you'd like to share? Which book does it come from? I don't keep track of favorite quotes at all. Sometimes I highlight things in books on my Kindle, but then I never actually look back at those, so I'm not really sure why I do it. I do have a favorite quote though, and it's very long, and it will not surprise any of you. As an economist, a socialist, and a Discworld fan, I obviously have to choose the Sam Vimes Boots theory of socioeconomic unfairness. The reason that the rich were so rich, Vimes reasoned, was because they managed to spend less money. Take Boots, for example. He earned $38 a month plus allowances. A really good pair of leather boots cost $50, but an affordable pair of boots, which were sort of okay for a season or two and then leaked like hell when the cardboard gave out, cost about $10. Those were the kind of boots Vimes always bought. and wore until the soles were so thin that he could tell where he was in Ankh-Morpork on a foggy night by the feel of the cobbles. But the thing was that good boots lasted for years and years. A man who could afford $50 had a pair of boots that'd still be keeping his feet dry in 10 years' time, while the poor man who could only afford cheap boots would have spent $100 on boots in the same time and would still have wet feet. And if that ain't the truth, I don't know what is. I'm not actually sure what book that comes from. Probably Guards. There's a reason that that quote gets cycled around on Twitter and Instagram and Tumblr and all over the internet all the time. It's because it is so incredibly accurate and also so clearly put. 7. The Three Musketeers is a book of strong friendship and allegiance. Do you have a favorite fictional friendship? I'm not sure if it's an all-time favorite, but I'm still so obsessed with the friendship between Murderbot and Art in the Murderbot Diaries. I will say no more. Question 8. The Three Musketeers is a story with strong female characters who are brave, fearless, yet gentle and loving. However, some of them prove to be true evil. Do you have a favorite female fictional character? Who is it and why? I haven't read the books about her in a very long time, but I mean, true favorite, it really has to be Tiffany Aching from Terry Pratchett's YA Discworld series about her. We start off following her as a 9-year-old who travels into fairyland armed with a cast iron skillet to rescue her little brother, who she doesn't particularly like, but she's her little brother, so she's not going to let any fairy queen kidnap him. And we follow as she grows and matures into a young woman, learns to become a witch, and makes mistakes, and has to pay the consequences, and has to resolve things. Her books were just so incredibly influential on me when I was a younger person, and I'm really looking forward to rereading them soon. I love Tiffany Aching so much. Question 9. There are more than 50 film adaptations of The Three Musketeers. Is there a film adaptation that you enjoyed more than the actual book? Doesn't have to be one of Dumas' books, just any book you've read and its film adaptation. Until last year, I probably would have said Lord of the Rings. I'm a huge fan of those movies, and while I liked the books, I didn't love them. But upon recent rereads, actually I kind of do love them, and sometimes I think I love them more than the movies now. You know, I don't know. I probably do have an answer to this. There probably is a movie that I enjoy more than its corresponding book, but I can't think of what it is at this point in time. Question 10. I own 3 different editions of Three Musketeers. Is there a book you own more than one edition of? I promise I didn't aim to set out to answer only Discworld things, but Making Money by Terry Pratchett, and I'm gonna move slightly and grab them off the shelf. So I have the English paperback edition of Making Money. I also, of course, own an ebook edition of the English version. And this is where it gets kind of ridiculous. I own it in Czech, which, to be clear, I don't speak or read Czech. I own it in German. Again, do not speak or read German. And I own it in Spanish. I vaguely speak Spanish. I used to sort of be able to read Spanish. It's been a while and I don't think I could read it now. But what happened was I read Making Money at a very pivotal point in my youth. I read it when I was 19. I was just starting to really study economics and really fall in love with it. And then I read Making Money, which is all about a bank and has a lot of economics-y jokes in it and has a lot of really interesting points about fiscal policy and stuff like that. I fell in love with it. I read it when I was in Spain. I thought, you know what would be a great souvenir? I'm gonna get a Spanish copy of this as a souvenir, and like, that'll be so cool. So I did that. Then the next year I was in the Czech Republic and Germany, and I thought, hey, wouldn't it be cool to like collect editions of Making Money from around the world and in different languages? And when I bought the Czech one, the guy at the bookstore checkout was like, you know that this is in Czech, right? Because I clearly did not speak any Czech and was like doing the whole thing in English. And I was like, yeah, I know, it's a weird collection. This is a book I own multiple editions of. Is it kind of ridiculous to own editions of a book in languages you don't speak? Almost certainly. Can I bear to get rid of them? Definitely not. So, there we go. Oh no, where did my phone go? Where are my notes? Question 11. Have you read The Three Musketeers or any other book by Alexandre Dumas? If yes, which one? I think I read an abridged version of The Count of Monte Cristo as a kid, but that was many, many, many years ago and I remember nothing about it, so not really. I haven't really read any of his books. Question 12. And finally, tag some friends to do this tag. I'm going to tag What Effie Reads, the Personal Cozy Project, and Shannon and a Book. These are all channels that I've been enjoying so much lately, and I would love to hear some of their answers to this tag. And if you are not familiar with any of them, make sure you go check them out in the links down below. That is the end of this tag. Let me know down below, are you a Dumas fan? If yes, what book should I read first from his writing? I would be so curious to hear your opinions. And if you like this video, please give it a like down below. If you would like to see more of my videos, please hit subscribe, and thank you for watching.